Hello, Tom Kosnick, founding partner of the Vices Group, here with Matt Lyon, CFO of TalentLaunch. Matt, welcome.
Thank you, Tom. Great to be with you. Appreciate a few minutes with you.
Yes, tell us about TalentLaunch.
So TalentLaunch is a network of independently operated staffing and recruitment firms. The companies are all under common ownership. We create them both organically and inorganically. These companies are companies that have deep roots in their communities or the brands and the industries that they serve. They're focused on building true partnerships with their customers and their talent in those areas. They recognize that talent and human resources are truly the most important asset utilized. And we are committed to a common cause. All of our companies are committed to a common cause, which is to help the world realize its potential. And we want to do that one operating company at a time.
Hey, that's fantastic. And TalentLaunch has got such a unique strategy of acquiring companies and supporting companies. Tell us, what are a couple of things you've learned about doing mergers and acquisitions with staffing firms?
Well, you're right, Tom. We've done 6 acquisitions in the last handful of years, and they're all a little bit different. So you got to recognize that and be flexible that they're going to be different. I would strongly emphasize that the financials don't always tell the story. So don't get too caught up in the financials. That's always the first thing that you see and hear when a deal comes through, an opportunity comes through. You got to get to know the organization. You got to do some research. You got to understand that all of the financial realizations and synergies that you might think you get are not going to come to fruition. So you got to factor things like that in and make sure that you carve out the right amount of time to do the diligence that matters. Because again, there's nothing worse than a bad acquisition and a bad experience to sour your taste and to keep you from wanting to do more of them.
Gosh, there are so many dynamics to mergers and acquisitions. I'll need to get you on one of my podcasts and unpack this topic a little bit more. But what is,
I would love to.
What is one piece of wisdom you would like to leave with our listeners?
Well, I would say the biggest piece of wisdom, and certainly the biggest thing I've learned over time, is to focus on the culture of the organization. And I know that's an easy thing to say, and it's harder to do in the due diligence stage, but make sure that you understand what the business really is at its core. The financials, as I said, will tell you one thing. Understanding who's running the business, how they've run the business, how they treat their employees, how they treat their customers. Do everything you can to learn about their culture. A lot of times you don't get to talk to the whole organization. You only get to talk to a handful of few. But it's pretty safe to assume that the culture that exists at the top usually trickles down to the employees. That's usually who they want to be associated with. But there are a lot of outside avenues you can use to understand their culture. Just simply Google them. Look up their company Facebook page, look on their website, look at their LinkedIn connections, read their Glassdoor reviews, Google them on the internet and see what kind of publications or lawsuits or things like that they have about them. Do everything you can to learn about the culture. The finances might be beautiful and might look great, but the financials will never cover up for a bad partnership.
Matt, from experience, that is fantastic advice. Fantastic piece of wisdom. I could not agree more. Thank you so much. Matt Lyon, CFO of TalentLaunch. Thank you for being with us, Matt.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate your time.